Stars shining bright above you. Night breezes seem to whisper, I love you. Birds singing in the sycamore tree. Dream a little dream
Welcome,
of me.
kindreds. It's Jessica the Story Witch, and this is the May 2018 Plan With Me. I did do Plan With Me's for April and for March as well, so this is my third one now. And the theme I've gone for May is butterflies, which is I know this is kind of like a common motif that lots of people identify with, but for me, this time of the year now is very much about kind of coming out of your cocoon. It also ties in with my word of this year, which is emerge. So I'm coming out of my cocoon. It's coming up to my birthday as well. It's not actually my birthday in May, but right at the start of June, so that's exciting as well. So I feel like I'm kind of already in that cocoony build-up time. I always do, on the facing page of the new month, I always do like a kind of, I tend to stick in something related to what is coming up in that month. So here I've put a page from the Wee Moon diary on Beltane, because obviously that's happening right at the very beginning of May. And then for the title page this month, I just used some little bits and bobs of a book that I bought a while back now for collage and kind of these purposes. It was like a book about meadows and flowers and things like that. So I find it quite cool to use for things like this, for little bits of collage and stuff. I know some people hate the idea of like cutting up a book and ripping up a book for things like that, but I did buy it specifically for that purpose, and I have been making sure I use as much of it as possible so things aren't going to waste, in there. I also treated myself to some really cute little butterfly stickers, and I'll try and link everything that I'm using down below as well, so that if you want to get any of this stuff, then you know where to find it. I was thinking as I was doing this title page that perhaps the title page is always the kind of my least favourite of my spreads. I'm not, as you can see, I'm not the most sort of like beautiful of bullet journalers. It's kind of more of a practical witchy bullet journal meets Book of Shadows kind of thing for me. So even though I do like having that kind of start page, I'm thinking I might just do a kind of just collage page rather than trying to make a kind of title page as such, like a collage of things that are coming up this month. And I always include on the bottom of my title page, so I'll have to find a way of kind of including this if I do switch to a collage page in the future. I always include like the main moon phases for the month, so the full and the new moon, and both of the quarter moons as well. So the quarter moon is when it like looks like a half moon, which is a little bit confusing. So I did actually mess this up, so I had to redo it with my stamps. The stamps, I can't remember the name of the shop, but I'll link those down below as well. They are quite expensive, but I do literally use them every day, so I don't think it's so bad. And then I make a note of the time and the sign that the different moon phases are falling in, because I can just quickly refer back to that information then when I need it. Although I do include the moon phase, the daily moon phase in my daily spreads as well. So looking forward to these moons. I love this kind of start of May time with a more kind of earthy Taurus energy and stuff. So it feels like a really nice kind of grounded time as well. And last month my theme was rainbows, so I used a lot of colour last month, so I was really feeling the need to kind of tone down the colour this time. So I've gone for mainly the kind of monochrome, but then with the butterflies being more accent, the kind of accent colours then, just to kind of spark it up a bit. And I also treated myself to a couple of new rolls of washi. I had a couple of butterfly washies already, but I bought a couple of new ones as well, just to kind of, I can add that for decoration stuff when I'm doing extra spreads and things then as it goes through the month. So I set up my calendar over 2 pages. I find that's what works best for me, because I do actually use it as a calendar. I do fill in things that are happening on those days. I also fill in like kind of, if I've got to-dos that have to be done on specific days, I put those in there. I put the moon phases on there. I also often put in the signs that the moon is moving through as we go through the month as well, but I don't fill all that in, and I haven't filled in all of this yet, because I'm obviously doing this in preparation for May, so I'm not going to fill in all my calendar until it gets to I usually do it on the last day or the last but one day of the month. So I'm kind of making, I guess, like kind of empty spreads for this, but you can get the idea of where I'm going with it. So use another little piece of the same book that I used for the title page, just to kind of make it look fairly similar and kind of consistent through from the title page. My brush script is not the best, so I'm using like a little gold gel pen to kind of jazz it up a little bit. Brush scripts looks, if it's not so great, you can always use a pen to make it look like you meant it to look like that. I'm getting better, but it's still not like the ones you see a lot on Instagram and on YouTube. And then alongside my calendar for each month, I have I'm drawing these little tabs now where I write down my deck for the month, my card when I draw a tarot card, which is my card for the month, and also the stones I'll be working with and the herbs I'll be working with in the month, and my focus. And those things are generally drawn from the correspondences of the signs that we're going through, that the sun is going through in that month. So for May now, that would be Taurus, and then Gemini, which is my sun sign. And add in a few more little like kind of accents and things there. This little pack of stickers had I bought it because of the butterflies, but it also has some lovely other little kind of air element symbols in there as well, some feathers and things like that. So I decided to include a couple of them as well. And I do tend to like go back and add things as I go through as well, so I might add like a quote or something to this page as well, and obviously I'll be filling in my calendar with what is going on as well. That's why all those boxes are a reasonable size, so I can actually write in them. And then every month I find it keeps me really focused to make in this month I will, and I separate out 2 columns to have like a to-do column and a to-buy column. So this isn't a particularly pretty spread, but it does, I find it really, really useful. It keeps me really focused and on track through the month. And I do add things. When I'm filling this in, I look back at the previous month and see if there was anything that I was going to do in that month I haven't got around to doing. And I also look back when I start my bullet journal for the year. I fill in a whole like year's worth of goals and things that I'm going to do. Like some of them are really simple, quick and easy things, and some of them are things that are kind of more ongoing. So I'll look back at both those places at the previous month and then at my annual goals to fill that in. And then I'm sticking with the habit tracker that I've been using for all this year really. I find that's kind of, it's working for me. It's helping me to see where I am kind of not doing the things I should be doing. And yeah, it just keeps me nicely on track, which is cool. So I haven't filled this in, but I fill it in looking back at last month's habit tracker. There were things that I want to kind of keep on tracking. And this year it's been mainly things like my meditation practice, yoga practice as well, drinking water I'm focused on this year. And one of my main things, which I also do as a separate tracker, which you'll see it when I turn over the page in a bit now, is going outside, so that's always on there as well. Oh, and yeah, and just showing last month, because I do put a little mood and energy tracker, like a little grid underneath as well, so that kind of flicks so fast it was tricky to see it, but it's just kind of like every day I just mark off a little on a little line to show how my mood is feeling and how my energy levels are. And yeah, this is my idea for my main kind of the tracker of my 2 main year goals, which are going outside and gratitude. This is my gratitude track as well. I thought, sticking with the butterfly theme, I was going to make it actually into a butterfly, which to get it even was harder said than done, but yeah, it turned out pretty cool. I'm happy with it. I was going to number on the wings where I'm going to write, but I thought actually I'm just going to let it kind of fill a little bit more organically. So on the one page is going to be every day I'll write something that I'm grateful for, or more than one thing that I'm grateful for. And then on the other page I write like I went outside and did whatever it was that I went outside to do. So yeah, I'm happy to see how that's going to turn out. I usually do post my finished spreads on Instagram and stuff as well. So if you're interested, you can go over there and have a look at my Instagram and things as well. And I've put a flip through of my April, because a few people said, oh, can I flip through my finished spreads last time. So I'm going to flip through my April finished spreads at the end of this video as well, so you can have a little look at what my almost finished April looked like. So yeah, this is just extra information about what is going on astrologically, and just some sort of pretty things to do with Beltane and stuff that is coming up for May. I like to do this. So I think this is kind of the pages that I'm probably going to like combine with my title page instead of having a set title page. I'm still kind of thinking about that really. But I'm always a little bit like not so happy with how my title pages turn out. So, and this is the kind of thing that I'll keep adding bits and bobs to as the month goes on and I find little things that I want. And so yeah, that's the main part of the setup. And then I'm actually onto my dailies, and I do dailies. I know a lot of people when they say dailies and they kind of do a whole week, but I actually check in. I find that my bullet journal is very much kind of bundled up with my spiritual practice, is part of my spiritual practice. So every evening and every morning I do check in with my bullet journal. I find it a really useful kind of grounding and centering time. So I do every single day. Every night I kind of set up like I'm doing now the following day, the following day's setup, and I put the moon, using my moon stamps, I put the moon phase down and I write what sign the moon's in and a few kind of keywords about the energy of the moon in that sign and what it means to be in that day of the lunar month. I also do daily tarot card pulls, which I note on my dailies as well. So I do that the night before as well. So when I get up in the morning, even I already know what my card is for that day. And I find that really is kind of helpful. I plan out because I'm trying to be more conscious of my health as well this year. That was one of my major things. So I do write a little menu planner as well of what I will be eating that day, which I find keeps me nicely on track and makes me think about it in advance. So it's not like I'm just grabbing something then to eat. And of course, it's a bullet journal, so I put my to-do list, so I have like today as my bottom bar, and then I fill in what I've got on for the day. So this is my completed, well, almost completed, because I obviously haven't filled in things like the calendar yet, my completed setup for May. I hope you like it. Let me know what themes you're doing, or any thoughts really on this down below. I love to see other people's videos and things as well. So especially like the more kind of witchy bullet journals as well, because like you can see all these amazingly gorgeous ones, and I love watching those too. But yeah, I do like seeing the more kind of witchy ones as well. And this is a flip through of my finished April. For some reason it like cut off that was my gratitude and going outside. I did like rainbows for last month. And yeah, this is kind of just, I'm going a bit faster now through because it's just basically my dailies and things. I do sometimes stick these kind of flaps and things on. These were my Aries correspondence. I did a spread on all of the kind of Aries correspondences. I've decided to kind of go back over those this year. It's something that is, that I wanted to kind of solidify in my mind. And then I did the same as we moved into Taurus. I did the Taurus correspondences there as well. And I've been making up oil blends as well, so obviously you can't smell it. But I do put a bit of the oils on as well. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Warmest blessings, and I will see you very soon.